Let me tell you a story. I'm 13 years old and it's in the summertime. I'm playing out with my friends and we just stood outside of a cinema with a group of my male friends, and they've actually invited a group of girls with us as well. I'm chilling. I'm cool. I'm trying to impress the girls. I'm wearing like a nice shirt that I've picked out for today. And as we're all just stood here having this conversation, out of nowhere, I feel like a little bit of a tickle on my neck and I jump out. Turns out it's actually just one of the girls who was like fixing my necklace. And I felt so embarrassed and so weird that someone touching me made me freak out as if it was like an insect biting me. And many young guys are like this. I can tell you ways to improve your attractiveness towards girls and to get respect from guys, which will be to make money and to build muscle and to become more confident. But these are ways that take months or even years to actually have some kind of result in your life. There's something you can do today to become more attractive to other people, especially to women. And I want to break that down for you. The number one way that you can improve your attractiveness today is to be more relaxed in your own body. Many men are very tight in their bodies. They don't breathe properly. Maybe they shallowly breathe up to their chest and no further. And they wonder why their power in the world and their presence, their ability to stay focused, their ability to be relaxed is so diminished compared to what it would be. I want you to imagine right now you see a pretty girl in the gym and you think to yourself you're going to speak to her. And there's two versions of you. In the first version, you don't really think of anything. You just go up and you eventually speak to her. But because of the fact that this is quite a somewhat unnatural or uncomfortable thing to do, especially in the modern day, you're withholding your breath, you're tight, you're tense, your stomach isn't moving at all as you breathe, you're taking shallow breaths. Imagine how you come across to her. Now imagine the second version of you that cues himself to breathe properly all the way down to his stomach and back up again, who's relaxed and his heartbeat has now went down, and now you go and speak to her. Imagine the difference now of you speaking to her in that way and how the future trajectory of your life with you navigating every relationship, every woman, every guy that you speak to, everything that you do in life with a full breath. Imagine the different trajectories of your life. In one, you're tense, you're uncertain, you're anxious, you're overthinking. And in the other, you're relaxed, you're confident, you've got this deep, slow breath with you. When I do a lot of my meetups and a bunch of our tribe members come and meet me, this is one of the most common things that I spot amongst the men who come out. Half of the guys who are there don't breathe properly. They've got awkward body language. They'll say like hello to me and they're not even looking at me. They're looking to the side whilst they talk to me like this, and they're just awkward. They don't know what to do with their hands and they just stand here. And I almost have to tell them like, bro, like, when was the last time you took a breath? And that's when they relax. And that's when I see them actually break into a smile and they're actually enjoying the moments. The intense in your body, as you might be right now, it makes you overthink and lose presence. So you can try this right now as I speak to you. If you just sit up a little bit straighter and push your chest out a bit more and breathe so forcefully that wherever your breath usually gets to, it actually crosses that point and it goes lower into your body to the point that your stomach bulges outwards. I always say, breathe like a king. Like if you imagine how a king would breathe, he wouldn't be sucking in his stomach trying to like pretend he's got abs. He wouldn't be like so scared of his stomach moving as he breathes. He'd like his big fat belly would be breathing, bulging as he takes every breath. He'd laugh with like a big belly laugh. Totally relaxed, never anxious, never uncertain that someone might judge him for his stomach sticking out a little bit. That's how we should be breathing. By the way, bro, you're consuming all of these educational videos, which is awesome. But let's be more serious. There is a war on masculinity, and for us to win this war, we need you to join our gang. I'm welcoming you to the Adonis Gang. Come join your brotherhood by clicking the top link in the description right now and watching that welcome video after you finish watching this one. This is also why many like really attractive guys end up not even being able to get into good relationships, or why many chads actually end up struggling with their dating life. Because you can be physically attractive, but if you feel really awkward in your body and you feel like you're not very present, when you do go and speak to a girl, even if you are attractive, she will sense something off about you. Naturally, women are looking out for the guy who seems like his level of the social hierarchy is higher than theirs and higher than most guys. That's what they're looking for. When you have this constrained body language, this tense body language when it comes to speaking to a girl, and she can see that this is something that causes you to be anxious and overthink, then she's going to assume that you are lower tier. So you might have seen some guys that you know who are quite attractive, who would be considered chads, who are 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and they still complain about their dating life. They still tell you that they're a bit shy to go speak to that hot girl over there. In my opinion, there's no point building up the other things that we're working on, like looks, money, status, if you're not even going to breathe properly. So many of us young guys, and if you've watched a lot of content online, you know it, we only focus on this real world stuff, this materialism, the money, the status, the Instagram followers. We do all of these things, but we don't even try and level up some of the fundamental parts of life, like being able to breathe, being able to move your body without it being constrained. We'll go and lift heavy weights, but none of us will even do yoga or stretch. We'll go and try and build a business, but we don't meditate or pray. If you can't even breathe properly, then even getting the girl, there's no point. You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to be overthinking. This is like the reality for so many guys. They end up getting the girl and they don't even enjoy the time with her because they're not present. They're not even breathing. They're always overthinking. Their mind is always elsewhere. Remind myself of what I was like when I was like 13 years old. I was very awkward when it came to touching as well. So we've covered, breathing and being more relaxed in your body, but now it's about the bodies of other people. What are you like if someone touches you? What are you like if you're just having a normal day, you're studying, you're fixing something, and someone touched your back like this? Would you jump and get scared? How about when you're being intimate with a woman and she's like touching your arm? Does that make you feel tense in any way? Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Now, these things can feel very nice for many people, but for many of us, we can feel a little bit caged in our own bodies. And then when it comes to us being able to touch other people's bodies, that's where we get awkward. If I meet you in person and you recognize me and you want to come over and speak to me, sure, we'll do a little handshake, fist bump thing, fine. But then after that, if you tell me something that you've done really well in, and I kind of like slap your back like this to kind of, symbolize like, okay, well done. Does that almost jolt you like no one's touched you before? Or does that make you feel normal? For many guys that I personally know and that I've met through like these meetups from our tribe members, many of them who do seem quite awkward in their own bodies, in my opinion, it's because they've never really played sports or wrestled before. We were supposed to, as boys, like wrestle with our fathers. Like daddy was supposed to play with us, but for many of us, we didn't actually grow up with father figures or with dads who were actually at home. And so many men are very like constrained and just like weird in their body where they'll just stand there tense. You need to wrestle. You need to get your ass beat, honestly. You go into like an MMA gym, jiu-jitsu, boxing, get dropped, wrestle with some guys and like play fight with them. It's sad that many of us didn't have this. And for the guys who did have this, when we did play fight in school, what happened? Me and you wrestling, what's going to happen? Teacher's going to tell us off. We got in trouble. Like we were supposed to wrestle as boys. We were supposed to play fight. We were supposed to get a little bit hurt as well. Can't. With like the feminization of the education system, boys are being raised as girls. They're told, okay, sit still, cross your legs, don't talk, or, gossip and share ideas, but not to be adventurous, not to play, not to push. That was like part of the rules that all of us went through in school was don't push, don't fight, don't be aggressive. But these are actually really healthy traits for young boys. You're supposed to actually hurt each other a little bit. But young boys, especially brothers, know this. Even if brothers never had any influence from the outside world, if they were locked in a room together from birth, they'd still fight each other. Like, for example, you see dogs fight each other, they'll nip at each other. That doesn't mean that they're actually being harmful. That's in a weird way, it's play, and it's them learning the boundaries of the world. What happens when boys are told not to harm each other when they're little boys? They don't know their own strength and capabilities to harm each other when they become adults. That's when they turn into criminals. That's when they turn into really harmful people. But the boy who's grown up with fighting his brother, and he knows his strength and he knows like the moves he can use to hurt someone, and also like the level of power he should use or not use to restrain someone. It's like he's learned that boundary of the world. That equals out to him being like a man who's free in his body, who's able to move in it, who's able to use like the right amount of force and momentum for speaking to a woman, for making love, for being with friends, and even being strong in the gym. And it's a shame when you haven't had this when you were a child, because you didn't deserve that. This is why some of my favorite meetups that I've done with my tribe members have been the physical ones. Just a few days ago, we went to the rooftop of a gym here in Bali, and I brought out like 20, 25 guys, and we did a massive workout there with this head personal trainer of the gym, and everyone's doing like this almost boot camp, raw prison style workout where we're grabbing like the exercise balls and slamming them to the floor and grabbing the dumbbells and doing like, the fast hit style training. There's literally 20 young guys there, guys who usually would never leave their house, guys who have only started going to the gym for the last few weeks or months, all of us together. And it's just amazing seeing young men who come out and become free in their bodies like this. A previous meetup that I hosted, we did in the UK, and we all climbed the tallest mountain of the UK. Like 50 guys came with me, and I led them all to the tallest, most dangerous mountain in the UK. Then we did the other mountains in the UK as well. It's very important that men get together. And like, people will say this is gay or something, but it's very important that men get together and essentially like use our bodies together, whether it's wrestling and it's fighting or it's hiking or it's playing sport or whatever it is. You need something that kind of makes you like here in the now in your body. One last tip I can give you is if you can get into martial arts and you can start sparring, that really helps. It's very hard not to be present when the other guy in front of you is trying to punch you in the face. And if you're into meditation, which is really good for you, when you do get punched in the face when you're boxing, it's like you've just meditated for 3 hours straight. Just instantly you're awake. There's no thoughts in your mind when this guy's going to punch you in the face again. You're just awake, you're here. Okay, sweet, I'm here. Let me keep my hands up this time. These things are very good for men, and it is beautiful seeing so many more young men than usual get into these environments where they're hiking, doing martial arts, gym, boxing, everything. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.